simply put, when you're using a bolt-on repair kit like the ones that Damotech designs, it's simply that it's bolted on. So all the welding, the design work, the painting is all done in a controlled environment. So when you get to site, all you're doing is bolting that kit onto the existing frame. Whereas if you introduce the idea of field welding, you just have a whole lot more variables that you're having to tend to. You have to ensure that you're in the right environment, that you prep the area adequately, that your welder obviously is certified, and that maybe to the extent possible, having an engineer certified that the weld did actually take and that it was sufficient to restore that component to its original capacity. Now, there is some documentation out there if you search MHI, the Material Handling Institute, and of course RMI as well. We have some documentation on our website that speaks to this, but the short answer is by using a repair kit like ours that is bolted, you're not having to tend to or deal with the variables and the risks of performing a field weld in potentially adverse conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I may add, Mark, on this, because I've faced that kind of situation in inspection, very well done welds, of two columns together. I was looking at it, it looks super nice, it looked professional. So you could see that the parts were grinded, the paint was removed, the weld was redone, they put back the paint. It really looked professional. But there's always that. As an engineer, they didn't have any records on who did it and what temperature was used, and you're asking me as an engineer to take responsibility now for the load capacity of that repair, and I don't have any tools, so it makes things really hard for us because yes, it looks fine, but you don't see through, you don't know the quality of the weld. Unless you take it out of there completely, compress it, destroy it, and then you would say, well, this one was fine, but what about the next one? Or you take X-rays. So, the cost of this is impossible to work with. So what we say, and what the RMI, the Rack Manufacturers Institute that design the rack design code, that write the rack design code, what they say is that, yeah, you could use somebody to come in weld, but you got to have a supervising engineer that says, you're going to weld it like this under this temperature in those conditions. Here's the procedure. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be there and watch over you to make sure it's well done.
Yeah.
That's the kind of, so the time that the engineer is going to spend there is way more costly than just having a kit that is pre-certified. And it feels like I'm talking for you guys in sales, but the kit comes, it's certified by an engineer, it's like tested, validated, incredibly strong. That's another argument.